Yeah, they heard I got a dream, right? That's why I'm out here grinding. Only some know what I mean, right? When life gets really hard and sometimes it ain't what it seems like. Here we go. Alright, you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, they heard I got a dream, right? That's why I'm out here grinding. Only some know what I mean, right? When life gets really hard and sometimes it ain't what it seems like.
I see you just threw me off.
Yeah, keep that. Nah, it ain't what it seems like. Excuse the language, but all they wanna do is fuck. Stupid. Alright, levels are good. We're ready to rock.
Hello, welcome to the Flow Podcast. I'm your host, Manuel Fuentes. We got a cool guest today. His name is Will Santos from the Goldmind Studios.
Yes,
how you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. Doing great. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for coming, man.
No, thank you,
I know you're
man.
busy, so
Man, business is good, but I'm glad I'm here today, man.
that's what's up, bro. How's your day going, bro?
Not bad, just the usual, just working on music, working on records, checking email, and always trying to, market my business for exposure, so not bad.
That's cool, man. And I was looking through your Instagram, and I wondered, like, what is Goldmind Studios? Why did you name it Goldmind?
I named it Goldminds. The funniest thing, I came up with that name out of Hooters.
What? Hooters?
That's
shout
crazy.
Out to Hooters, man.
Shout out to Hooters, man. Shout out to it's funny. A friend of mine, when I used to make music, when I was a rapper and artist myself, a really good friend of mine from high school, Sean Artero, we decided to come up with Goldmind's music group. So it was me and a couple other artists as a collective, kind of like a label kind of thing going. Pretty much what TDE is now with Kendrick and every other artist. Mm-hmm. And we were trying to come up with a name, and one day we're like, hey, man, you hungry? Like, let's meet here. Let's talk about possible names. And then the reason I came up with Goldmind Studios was I wanted something that, lasts forever, which is gold. Even nowadays, people still go out there and look for it. People, it's crazy, man.
It's a gold rush, bro.
Hundreds and hundreds of years or whatever, and people still they fiend for it. They want it. It's still valuable. It's still relevant in this world. So I kind of I wanted to tie that name gold, and then I didn't know what other thing to tie it with. We were like gold something. And we wrote it on a napkin like crazy, and he was like, well, let's do gold, and then what else? We was like, we want to make timeless music, you know what I'm saying? We want to make inspirational stuff. So we're like, your mind, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
Mine's
strong,
timeless.
exactly. So we're like, Gold Minds, and we're like, that's dope. So we had initially started with Gold Minds Music Group, right, when I was doing the whole music thing, me and some other artists or whatever. And then once I ventured into just being an engineer, a mix engineer, and starting my own recording studio, I just took the name, and obviously it wasn't a music anymore. It was just studio, so Goldmind Studios, and that's how I just stuck.
Dude, that's pretty cool, man. I never thought about
Thank
that.
you,
Yeah, that's pretty deep. If you think about
man, I'm telling you, it's crazy. Everything has a story, man.
Damn, man. Shout out to Hooters, bro.
Yeah, Hooters got me ideas, man. The chicken wings, man. I still like Wingstop more, but shout out to Hooters, man. It's cool.
What's up, bro? So what inspired you to open up a studio? Is there anyone who inspired you throughout the process?
Well, I mean, it got to the point where when I was recording people, like having artists from the Valley recording, I was still making my own music, and I was finding less and less time to work on my own music, and I was just having people recording at my studio more and more and working on their music. But then I realized I really enjoyed that. Like I was looking forward to working on other people's music, and then that's when it kind of transitioned into like, okay, it's either I'm gonna go 100% on this, or as an artist, or go 100% as a business, like starting my own studio. Because I've always been the type of guy, like when I really want something, like I go crazy for it. Like I go 100%.
That's good, man.
So I didn't want to juggle like, okay, well maybe I'll write a couple songs today, and next week I'll work on a couple songs. Like no, it was a tough time because I really had to decide like, what do you want to do, bro? Like what's going on? And then I was like, you know what? I really want to learn. I really want to work with other artists and take their music and just make it even better. And then that's when I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. And I didn't really open up my studio for business like publicly to Instagram till maybe like, I would say maybe like maybe about 3 years ago, or like almost 3 years ago. So But I've been making music since I was like 14, 15.
Damn, that's a long time.
It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute.
So, what kind of artist has inspired you to make music?
I have a half sister who's old. Who obviously she's old. She's older than me. And just put me on into like a bunch of stuff, and like your typical everyone will tell you like Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas. But that was more of like her taste rubbing off onto me.
Yeah.
And then when I got into like middle school and high school, I really enjoyed like the boom bap hip hop era, like the Ninth Wonders and DJ Premiers and Black Milk. So I was listening to groups like Slum Village and Jay Dilla, Little Brother, like all those.
Shout out to Jay Dilla, dude.
Yeah, all those cool beats, exactly.
Yeah.
So like that sound, I really love that. I even started kind of like rapping that way and choosing beats that kind of fell in that genre. So but then again, I have such a wide variety of music taste that as I got older, I was more and more open to other genres, which is pretty cool, man. It helps when you work on people's music to be open to a lot of different kinds of music.
Damn, that's pretty cool, man. How you're open-minded with the different kinds of music.
Yeah, you have to be, man. Nowadays, it's everything's so like modern. You gotta have an ear for it. Sometimes you might have an artist that comes in and is like, hey, can you do an effect like this, and it's like a song on the radio, and it's like if you're totally on the F the radio, F this, I don't listen to that, then you won't know what your client wants. And I feel like it's important for your client to be satisfied, and you got to be up to speed, man.
And so you work with different kind of artists like Severino and then Kitty Wednesday.
Oh
yeah, man. Like how is that? Like when you look at the artists when you're working with them.
It happens both ways. Either they reach out to me because they've heard about me through word of mouth, or they're just looking for a studio to record in, and then like we just build a relationship from there. But like Severino, he's from Palm Springs. Shout out to Severino.
Hey, I check his music. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, man. Severino, he drives from Palm Springs
that's rough.
to here to Van Nuys, where my studio's at.
That's like what, 2 hours
on a weekday. 2 hours plus sometimes on a weekday.
That's dedication, bro.
To be at work the next day. So I think clients like that show like when you really want it, and you build a strong connection with your producer, your engineer, whoever you're creating music with. It speaks volumes that like it can take you a long way if you really stick together and make it work as a team. Kitty Wednesday is someone that was actually in Goldmind's music group.
Oh, okay.
So she was part of the group before, and then she kind of stopped making music, and then slowly starting to come back into it. So I've always had a relationship with her, but for the majority part, my clientele is all in the 818. It's all in the Valley. But I do have people that come from Long Beach, Palmdale, Lancaster, San Diego, Palm Springs.
That's cool, man.
LA.
You have a diversity.
Yeah, it is. But that's been happening slowly throughout the years as the word gets around. Like it isn't like I had that from the very beginning because
we're born. So
exactly,
it's not easy, bro.
Exactly, it's not.
Damn, that's good though. Like you're coming up, and then it's just word of mouth.
It's word of mouth.
You must be doing something right.
I mean, I have business cards, and I hand them out if I meet someone at the supermarket or I'm in line somewhere, and then like sometimes one guy heard me talk about like, hey man, I'll be in the studio in a bit. He said, oh, like you're a producer or something? I was like, I mix records. I'm a mix engineer. I was like, but I have my own studio. I track people, and then I have a business card on me, and I gave it to him. But I ordered like the 500 package. I probably still have like 400 left.
What,
and mostly it's just been word of mouth, like Instagram, Twitter, and just
power of social media.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey man, Will's the guy to go to. Quality is amazing. Like hit him up, and then I'm just like, and then they hit me up, and we take it from there and build a relationship. So I'm blessed, man. I'm definitely blessed.
What's up, bro? And how was the working with the first Japanese record, Ayaka Smile? How was that?
Oh man,
that seemed pretty interesting.
That was all through social media.
Yeah.
Oh man, she
looked pretty cool, bro.
I think I actually like met her through Twitter, and then we followed each other on Instagram. And she actually has her own record label, and she signed like I think 2 or 3 artists on her label. So her Ayaka Smiles, I believe, she's from Japan.
Yeah.
She lives out there still,
Okay.
and she comes out here to New York to record some songs.
Dude,
Now,
that's cool. Coming from
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Aya, her producer is, she plays the piano. She does all the composition and composing for the records, and then once that's recorded at their studio in New York, they send it off to me to work on it and, you know, do my thing and mix it and send it back. But we've have maybe about 4 songs we've worked on, so we have like a continuing relationship. You know, it's dope, man.
Man.
I
saw the video, like, yo, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I'm mixing something, but I don't understand what they're saying because it's in Japanese, but it's still sound.
Yeah.
So you can still make it sound good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, music
you can
is
still work with it.
Yeah, it's such a universal language.
Right.
It's just so interesting how everyone gets it.
It's amazing, man.
Music. Yeah. And you had other people come in, like trumpet players. And then how was that, hearing the live music instruments?
Man,
how was that experience?
That experience to me has been slowly like progressing because I've met more and more people, and then I meet one person that plays, you know, the bass, and then his friend plays really good drums, and then another client tells me, yo, I know someone, and I met this bass player who was the dad of where I used to work with kids at an after school program. So she was the dad of one of the kids who stayed there, of a girl who stayed there, and then we just started talking music. He's like, yeah, I'm a musician player. I tour the world playing the bass. He's like, I'm actually going to China next week. What? And I was like, dude, are you serious? And he was like, yeah. So we exchanged numbers, and it wasn't until like a year later that I was working with I'm still working with a guy named Sean Hanley from Boston, and he'll send me the songs, and he goes, hey, I need a bass player, and then it's kind of like my job to track one down and bring him to my studio, have him play it, and then send it out like, what do you think? So that's how it all happened, man. Awesome, I've had guitar players, saxophone players, I've had trumpet players, acoustic guitar players, electric guitar players. So I love to incorporate live instrumentation. Anytime I can incorporate live instrumentation into my records, I'll do it, because it's amazing. We need more of that, man.
Yeah,
we need more of that.
Not in this modern age, bro.
Yes, we need
bro.
it, man. I vouch for it 100%. Like, we need that. It's just good for the culture. It's good for the music. It's a different vibe. It's a different feel. It's like you can hear a really nice guitar riff that's, you know, it's MIDI played on the keyboard, or, you know, not real, and then you hear like an actual, you know, electric guitar player actually playing it. Yeah. It's just 2 different vibes. This is what you want for that record. But live instrumentation is the ish, man. I love it.
Man, imagine if you get a live orchestra, like with the
violin, bro. You know what's crazy? You mentioned that. That's literally like my dream. There's actually a record of I don't know if you know an artist named John Bellion.
Oh yeah. He's signed with the Rat Pack.
I think so. Yeah. He signed with Logic. Okay, he has a video on YouTube where he kind of goes through like how a song was composed, like different people that had to come in to make it happen. So he literally like FaceTimes a bass player. He's like, hey man, I got this drum groove. Like I got this drum groove. I kind of need you in here in the next 45 minutes. And he comes to the studio, straps on his bass, hears the drum loop, plays the bass, and then he's like, tells his other guy like, hey man, I need a 5-player orchestra in here. You think you can make it happen? Awesome, and they put the time, and it's like 1 a.m. I think it's like culture, New York. Yeah. And then the guy's like, he's like, I guess this guy's like a big shot or whatever. He's like, let me see if I can make it happen. And then it says 35 minutes later, bro, he has like 5 guys in there, like a violin, a viola, a like cello, like, and then they're just setting up the session, and they're in there. He's like telling them what to play and how to play it. To me, when I saw that, I was like, as an engineer, that's something on my checklist. Like, I want to have a record where it's like a big old orchestra, and it could just be like one part of the song that we really need them for, or whatever it is, or an intro or outro. But to have that moment, I think will be like, check.
It would be amazing, bro. You're just like there,
sick.
Just like, ooh.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's funny because he was kind of telling him in the video, like, I don't know like exactly like, you know, orchestra style, but he's like, I know how I want the song to sound like and feel like, so just bear with me. He's like, I don't care if I make a fool of myself. This is what I'm talking about. He kind of guided them like how slow or loud he wanted to play certain parts. You should check it out, man. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's an amazing video.
Well, the closest experience I got is with Mac Miller in the Tiny Desk concerts.
Oh, okay.
Like a little orchestra.
In the band, cool. All the Tiny Desk concerts are dope, man. It's like even if it's a song that you know, hearing it with live instrumentation, is it not a different experience?
Yes.
It feels different. It's still your song, and you'll still like it, but it's like, dude, like, this is ill. Like, I mess with it. Bro. Yeah, it's sick. So I haven't seen the Mac Miller one, but I know that's the one that got posted when he had, like, when his passing happened.
Yeah, I saw that.
He had just filmed that not too long ago. I think like a month or two prior to his passing. So I'll check it out for sure, definitely.
Yeah, like another close experience I had is I took my mom out for her birthday. It was at the Walt Disney Concert Hall. I don't know if you know a composer called Gustavo Dudamel. I don't know. He's like a classical composer. It was just amazing.
Is he a modern or like is this old
it's kind of
back
modern.
In the day?
He had like a whole full orchestra. Just they were playing the trumpets. It was just amazing. I'm like, man, imagine you could incorporate that with the modern.
And the way that room, I've heard that room is crazy.
It's
treated.
So quiet.
Like, it's so treated in there.
It's just so dramatic. Like whoa.
Yeah.
Just the way he walks in, like.
No, I took when I went to community college, I took classical music, like the beginning class to know about classical music. So thankfully, the professor, she was really dope. So I got to learn like some stuff. So even to this day, like if it comes on, I'll leave it on because I enjoy it. It's cool, man. It's
the roots,
to
bro.
Think, yeah, to think like that many hundreds of years ago, these people were out here doing it like that. It's crazy. Man. It's dope.
Hey, could you explain to me like the process of engineering? Like how is the process when you go inside the studio? Like what do you do first and how do it end? Like
I'm glad you asked because I answer this question through my DMs a lot, man. Because
well, now, bro, you got an audience, bro. Because let them know right now, dude.
There's different levels of where I come into the mix. Obviously, I'll give you like my perfect scenario is if I don't mean to be biased, but if it's recorded at my studio. Because just based on the person's voice, based on the kind of song and the genre, I know what tools and what equipment, gear to use on that person. So I'm taking care of it from the go, right? And then once they record their song, right? I'm the rapper, I'm the singer, I go in there, I record my song. Once that's completed and the artist is happy with the recording, everything's how it is, I take every individual song, every vocal, every snare, kick, bass, that's part of the beat. The producer normally provides that, right, to the artist. And then it's my turn to go in and do what I do. And that's making sure that the levels of the song, right, you can't have a piano like super loud and it's like buried under your vocal. Like it's a lot of balancing. It's making sure everything doesn't poke out, and what needs to be poked out is poking out. What needs to be dark, bright, you know what I'm saying? So my job is to do that. It's like you're in the lab, you're a chef. You're like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know, see a little bit of this. Oh, too much. Bring it back. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing. So once that's done, that's mixing, right? Okay, so mixing is done. Now mastering is the part where I think some people get confused. So mastering is literally like the icing on the cake. Like you've baked the cake, you've put all the eggs, saw a little pinch of this, pinch of that. You take it out. Now it's just the icing, man. Now it's just like
cherry on top.
Exactly. Now if you made your cake a bad cake, no matter how much icing you put, it's gonna taste like trash because you didn't put the right ingredients, you didn't put the best ingredients. You get what I'm saying? A bad cake is a bad cake, no matter how much you ice it. So if you take care of a really good mix, you're gonna have an amazing cake. You can't take a bad cake and make it into an awesome cake because you threw some glitter and some icing on it and sprinkles. So that's the philosophy. It's exactly. It's already in there. So that's the foundation. The mix is the foundation and all the creative and technical decisions that I have to make on my behalf. And then mastering literally is you're just literally massaging like the song, and you are obviously bringing it up to what they call like mainstream levels for radio, Spotify.
Like you hear that crisp
sound. And it's also like your mix is never going to be as loud as it is how it ends up. So in the mastering stage, you bring up the volume of the record quite significantly actually, and if you got a really good mix, when you bring it up, it doesn't break on you. Like it sounds balanced, it sounds even. If you didn't do it right, when you turn up everything, if it's bad, it's just gonna be magnified. You get me?
Yeah.
So then you got to go back to the mixing process and fix it there.
So it's like a kind of like a puzzle.
It really, that's perfect. It really is, and I think it's super underestimated now because a lot of people can have home studios, which is also really cool. I'm never against that. That's actually really dope for you to wake up out of bed and make a song.
Like, let me just make a song.
Yeah,
today.
you know what I'm saying? But like I tell people, there's different levels of like where you want your sound to be. If you listen to something on the radio and you're like, wow, I love this song. This thing sounds amazing. Yeah. And then you hear your song and you're like, how come it sounds nowhere near like that? Where it's like, you know, do your homework. Where did this guy record? What kind of equipment is he using? And then I guarantee you, if you trace that chain, he's recording with top of the line microphones, top of the line preamps, in a great studio with good equipment with an engineer that knows what he's doing. So it's a lot of there's just a lot of levels. Like, it's a big tier of of decisions that as an artist you make on what you want. So that's literally what it is, man. It's like a puzzle, and then once you master it and everything's brought up, if you find yourself doing too much in mastering, then obviously you messed up somewhere in the mixing process. So
imagine how frustrating it is. Like,
yeah,
oh my God, I gotta
there's
find
been
all
times,
this.
man. Like it doesn't happen as much anymore because I know exactly what I'm hearing and where I want to take something. But when I was a rookie, man, it was like you spent 5-6 hours on a mix. You take it to mastering, you bring it up, and then it's like, why is my bass 7 times louder? Why is my high end like so bright? Like, why is it hurting my ears? Why are the S's so sharp?
Like,
why are the P's just popping?
Yeah, like, why am I deaf, dude?
Exactly, dude.
Like,
it's just like I can't. You got to go back and you got to fix it at the source. Go back and make it happen. So it's truly like a puzzle, and that to me is the perfect case scenario where it's like a baby. I've nurtured it all along. I met with the artist. He recorded at my studio on my equipment. We made decisions together. I mixed it, and then I mastered it. And then there's the other one where if someone, for example, lives in, I have clients in Texas and New York. Yeah. So let's say New York, he can't record it at my studio for obvious reasons. He'll record it, hopefully, at a good studio with good equipment, and send it to me, right? He'll send me the files through email, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'll open the session. I'll check out what's going on in the song, and then he'll send me some notes like, hey, man, like on this part, can you add a little delay? Can you make my vocals super auto-tune like Travis Scott or something, right? And then I'll do those decisions, boop, 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 send him the mix. Once he approves of it, go ahead with the mastering, and then send it right back.
Yeah. So that's how. What is the tough part? What is the toughest situation you've been to in all the years you've been making music?
Tough is as in, like, what do you mean? Like,
which is the part where you got you stuck? I'm like, man, I can't figure this out. Has there ever been a time? Name one time.
There's been a lot of times, man.
Name one time you remember, like, oh, I'm never going to forget this.
There's this one time, this is actually like an embarrassing story. There's this one time where I took a gig, I took a mix from someone who's pretty well respected in the game, and they're trying to, like, it was kind of like my shot to prove myself, because it was a big deal. It was a big deal. That song was a big deal, and it was my first time like really working on a song that was like giant, like a bunch of tracks. Like, we're talking like 20 tracks of drums, 10 tracks of guitars. It was just big. It was massive. And I kind of bit off more than I could chew. I was super confident. At that time, I was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing now. I got this. So he was like, yeah, we'll give you a shot. The manager was like, we'll give you a shot. Like, what's your rate? How much do you charge? We'll pay, blah, blah, blah. Sent it over. I kid you not, I swear on anything, I spent maybe over 10 hours overall. Not in the same day, but,
or like in
breaking it up. In total, I spent more than 10 hours on a song. And I remember hearing it before I sent it, like, whoo, like, this is crazy. Like, dude, they're going to love it. And then I sent it to them, and I remember waking up like, I hate my life. Like, it was like, oh, this isn't what we're looking for. This doesn't sound right. I don't know what it is. Like, bass is too loud. Vocals are not loud enough.
Oh, man, that's
guitars are, like, too harsh. Drums just don't knock. And I was just like, okay. I needed that though. I'm not gonna lie. I was bummed out for a whole week. For a whole week, I was bummed out. Like it hurts your ego, man. When you feel like you're progressing, and then someone's like, wait a minute, you're not there yet. Just made me work harder. Kid you not, a year later, I mixed a song for that same person. It was like, yo, this is amazing. Like,
wow, so you got your redemption.
I got my redemption, dude. Which I'm thankful for that person to be able to give me that second shot. And it's one of those. So I think that was a tough time for me.
I could imagine. I'll be like,
crazy.
For you it'll be 1 week. For me, probably be like 3 weeks, bro. That's a short time, bro.
No, that's crazy.
I'll be hurt for a few months.
No,
bro.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
But how do you feel when artists start streaming their music, knowing that you compose that, and then they start performing live? How do you feel when they start putting in their social media?
To me, when they finally release their music, to me, it's man.
Must be impatient, like, ooh, bro,
because especially with the songs that you really love and you know how great they are. If there's a song that sounds like it's like a summer vibe, and we're like in the summer and it still hasn't come out, and he's still pushing it back, and I'm just like, come on, man, let's drop it. This is a summer hit.
Yeah.
But I've learned to be patient. I have really great communication with my clients. Obviously, I'm closer to some clients than others, just like any other business or working environment, right? Yeah. So
chemistry.
I've been working with some of my clients for 5 years, 4 or 5 years. So we have great communication when it comes to that. But when I see other people compliment their music, it doesn't even have to necessarily be like, oh my god, it sounds amazing, like the mix, because I know they don't know about stuff like that, which is fine. But if they love the song, then to me it's like, wow, like it feels amazing when it's finally like out into the world for the people to hear and experience what we experienced months ago, because we probably worked on that song months ago. So some people don't get the concept that like when an artist drops a song, especially like a mainstream artist, chances are he's probably worked on that 2-3 months ago, maybe even longer. It's half a year, like a year sometimes, dude. It's crazy.
Years,
like it comes down to politics and timing and finding the right engineer or studio to record your song at. So it's one of those.
If you think about it, when they start making their music, they're kind of their head of the time, because when they release it, it's like, it's weird. I can't explain it. It's like, it's the style of music that's happening now, but they've been working on it like years before.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. They have that. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say?
With people, I tell one of my clients, I'm like, dude, like, people are putting out so much music so fast that we no longer get time to digest it.
Yeah.
I kid you not, this is a great example. When Mac Miller passed away, I hadn't heard his album at all, and I'm a Mac Miller fan. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm Stan, but I like his stuff. I liked his music. But there were so many things coming out around that time, and I was like, caught up on other things.
Bro.
Yeah, it was like caught up in other stuff as well. It was like 3 or 4 albums that dropped that, like, I literally listened to the whole album after he passed, and I was like, wow, this is a masterpiece. Like, this is amazing. And I feel like if he was alive, or they do this with any artist, people already would be demanding new music. Like, when's another project? When's the other album? And I feel like back in the day, is like they would release something that they worked really hard on for years, or a year or two sometimes, and then people would take those 15, 16 songs, they were a little longer, 15, 60 song projects, and really dissect it, like really hear it
and analyze lyrics,
it, the things going on in the background, the cool little outros, and like, I think I heard somebody whispering at 3 minutes, like, like little things, and then the instrumentation. And then once they kind of like literally fell in love with that project, they'd be like, okay, like, now we need new music. But now it's so accessible to you that it's like you drop something, and then it's like, well, when you gonna drop something else? Like, you can no longer really, like, the experience is different, man.
The music,
exactly, the experience is different, and it's just because, like, with streaming and the way the music business is, like, it's just go.
Yeah. And how do you fix that from an engineer perspective? How would you fix that in the future? Just the future of music.
I'm telling you, I have clients who as soon as they record, like, they want to know, like, when is this gonna be finished? When we're gonna drop it? I'm working on the cover art, and then I have some clients that are also like, all right,
Same.
cool. Like, take your time, man. Like I want you to really, you know, do your thing on it. Don't worry about it. Just do your thing. Make sure it's right. Once it's right, you let me know. I trust you, and then we're gonna figure out how we're gonna roll this one out. So it just depends on the artist, man. It really does. You see J. Cole, right? He drops every 2 years.
Yeah,
right?
and then Kendrick every 2 years or so.
And then there's some artists that like every 6 months or so they want to drop something.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on you know, the listener, and it depends on the artist and how close he wants to stay, you know, to dropping albums every single 6 months, a year, or whatever. It's just on them.
Oh, what is your opinion? How do you think you could have a balance of both? What would be your perspective of
with
that?
me, I'm kind of like the middleman, because I'm between the producer and you know, and the artist and all that. So the way I see it is like, if you go through a period in your time where you're fully inspired and you're just like, you're on a wave, to me it's like, ride the wave while the wave's going, ride it, like go for it, right? So if for some reason like you knock out 6-8 great songs in 2 months or a month, because that's just the kind of wave you're on, then dope, that's what's up. People's artists want that inspiration, and if they really come out to great songs, cool, record them, let's work on them, and let's put them out whenever you want. Now if you record one great song and then you make 2 or 3 mediocre songs, and you're like, oh, I don't think I should put this on my album, then just really like wait and be patient for that time to come for you to like really make another meaningful song. And that's how I feel like you should base your body of work. How are you feeling? Like, sometimes when people are stressed out or going through a heartbreak or whatever, they write their best music. So if that's the case, go for it, man. Go for it. That's what I'm saying. Like, go for it, man. Like, if it's emotional, go for it. Like, do your thing. If you want to put it out, put it out. But I'm saying, like, I think because people are used to getting it so fast, they put the pressure on the artist to like constantly want to release music.
I know, I see on Instagram, like, when's the next drop, like, when are you dropping?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, chill,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, man. And it's pros to it and there's cons to it. Like, I'm kind of in the middle about it, but I can, if someone tells me like the pro side, I'll be like, yeah, I'm with you. And if I see the con side, I'm like, because I was used to that kind of format, I understand them as well. So it's just like I said, it just literally depends on the artist and also his fan base. J. Cole, like, they don't press J. Cole like that because they know J. Cole takes his time to work on his music. But if it's like an artist, you know, like a more mainstream artist, they probably want something quicker and sooner and trendier and like now. We're living in the now, give it to me now kind of era. And it's showing,
era, bro. Like, you gotta have it now in your hands.
It's
like,
showing,
give it to
man.
me now, bro.
Yeah.
But who would you want to work with? Who's your dream collaboration?
Oh man, dream collaboration. Like in any genre or what?
Yeah, any genre. Top 3.
Top 3.
Top 3.
Okay, I would love to work. It's funny because my genre that I usually work on is like hip hop, rap, and R&B. But I would love to work with John Legend.
Oh yeah,
I'm a big.
Yo,
a lot of people may not know this, but I'm a big John Legend fan.
Yo,
bro.
man, he knows the music with the piano, bro.
Yeah, ever since Kanye broke him into the music business, I've been a huge fan. I would love to work with him. I would love to work with Kendrick for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And my third would probably be, man, that's tough. There's a couple. I would love to work with Adele, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I know I'm going to get the instrumentation thing we're talking about.
But you have the vocals.
Because, you know what I'm saying? It's like she has that huge sound, and it's like, I know her sessions are super complex. And I know it'd be like, you'd have to get some session players in there. So I think to soak all that experience in would be like an amazing, like, you know, honor and pleasure to get to work with someone like that. I think she's super professional. She's amazing, man.
Yeah, I like that list, man. Very
She's dope.
diverse.
Yeah.
I dig that, man. But you mentioned earlier that you were part of a rap group. Did you rap before, or?
Yeah, that was back in the MySpace days, man.
Hey.
How old are you again?
I'm 23.
Okay, so you're a bit younger than me, but
with the money tree. Bro.
Yeah. See, so back in the, me and my my friend who was actually my neighbor. That's how I started making music. Shout out to Praise. His name's Praise.
That's cool. You guys still collaborate and stuff?
Yeah, we still keep in touch.
Cool.
We still collaborate. So he's like a brother to me. I've known him for forever, since I was like 7 years old.
That's a long time, man.
Yeah. So we had our group. It was like a duo kind of thing, and we, typical story, man. We passed out CDs in high school or whatever. Like, check us out. We had a MySpace with our songs on it. Like, we would try to perform at any little like venue, cafe, little bar that would let us in.
Yeah.
So that was really like my upbringing. And then, like I said, it was how can I contribute more? He was like, hey man, our stuff is good. It just sounds like crap. So can you figure out why it sounds like crap? And then I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it, dude. I got like borderline obsessed, and I was like, I'm gonna do it.
You know what to say. One man's trash is another man's treasure, bro.
Yeah, so, man.
You are the treasure, bro.
I'm telling you, bro. Like, we had some like okay equipment for the time being. I mean, we're talking like 2000.
Yeah, I mean, you're young, bro.
4 or 5, bro. This was a while ago, and then when we really started like rapping like that, it was a transition of like analog to digital. Like, the music business was shifting towards like you can actually have a studio in your home. Because if you think about it, that was impossible back in the day. Like, if you would have blew somebody's head off in mind if you told them like, dude, you can have a whole studio set up at your house for less than $1,000.
Like, what, dude?
And you're like, what? Like, what? Like, are you kidding me? Like, literally, if you tell people in the 60s, 70s that, 80s even, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, you got to come to a recording studio for that. So, from my generation, I'm like at the point where things started tilting towards digital. So I remember like buying like my first interface, and they were pushing it as like the new great way to record. You know what I'm saying? So I lived in that very interesting time, which is cool because I love digital, but I'm also analog. The way my setup is at my studio, I record everything through analog gear. Just love how it sounds. It sounds amazing.
It sounds like more natural, I guess.
You can't beat it, dude. You got it. I'm not even going to say anymore because I'm just going to get into a conversation about analog and digital, and I don't want to do that because they both serve a purpose. They're both amazing. But when I record on the way in, my sound is going through analog equipment. It's touching analog equipment.
So just the balance of both in a way.
Exactly. And then I'm doing all the edits and digitally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that's cool, man.
I'm a hybrid setup. I'm what they call a hybrid setup.
That's good, man. That's good that you try and do both.
No, I dig it. I embrace it, man. I dig it.
And are you ever planning to make like rap back?
Nah,
again?
man. I've had some clients that know me from my rapping days and like, dude, when you gonna come back?
Yeah, man.
And I was like, I always keep the tool sharps, man. But I was like, I'm too busy, man. It like, I'm so blessed that my business, as a mixing engineer and as a recording studio took off, that like every day I'm accounted for something like a studio session or a meeting, or I'm mixing these records that I'm working on, because you got to give yourself time to work on these songs, and just booking more sessions, and then it just got to the point where it was literally like, yeah, this is what I was meant to do, and I don't regret it. But it helped me because when I record rappers, I understand them, and I know because I've done it way before them, or sometimes like maybe not way before, but I either have more experience than them, or it was like I've been there, done that, bro. So it's like, we should do ad-libs like this, or we should punch in, then go left and right, or we should stack the vocals this way, and then they'd be like, oh, dope, let's try that, and then they try it, and then 8 out of 10 times they're like, dude, that's exactly what we need. That's sick. How'd you know? Like, because they're like, you're just an engineer. I'm like, I don't know, man. I was just rapping back in like 1975.
Man.
But it's just one of those. It's one of those.
I think you should do it once in a while, dude. See how
I still freestyle. Like, when someone plays a beat, like I'll freestyle with some of my, my really dope clients. I'm just in there vibing with them. They're like, oh damn, you still got it. I'm like, bro, I told you, I keep it sharp. Whenever it's ready, man, it might come out one day. So, I haven't recorded a song like legit, like me making a rap song in maybe like 3 years. It's been a minute. Bro. It's been a minute, man.
You know what? It's time right now, dude.
No,
come on, give us 2 bars.
No, man, I'm good. I'm
dude, workers are never tired, dude. You keep going, bro. Grinders never stop, dude.
I know.
Come on, 2 bars.
I'm so good. I sometimes hear some of my old music and I'm like, dude, this is crazy. In a good way.
What would you talk about if you started rapping and like singing?
Like, what would I talk about?
What would be the topics you would touch upon?
Man, that's tough. I mean, obviously some of the stuff we were just mimicking the stuff that we would like hear like on the radio. Mm-hmm. So it was just all like, it was funny because it was all like club talk. But it's like, dude, we're like 15. Like, never been in a club in my life. Like, or like doing this stuff. You're like, dude, we're 16. Like, what are you talking about? But there was a lot of stuff in there that was like, it was like a message of like, you know, I know we're young. Don't take us lightly. We're taking it seriously. Mm-hmm. Even the guy, Praise, who I was telling you about, my partner. Yeah. He's doing amazing things in the music industry, and it makes me proud that like we came from the same block. You know what I'm saying? From the same block. Yeah. And we're both doing what we love, and we're both successful at it. And that to me is like, yo, that's
a good feeling.
That's
bro.
crazy. Even a really close friend of mine who's like a brother with me, Sean, he's a manager for a pop artist. Her name's Sabrina. Shout out to Sabrina. Yeah. And he was the initial guy who told me in high school, was like, yo, your music sucks. Like, I didn't like him at first. We weren't friends because he was like, dude, your music like sucks. He's like, you have talent, but these songs suck.
Hey, that hurts me right here.
And I was just like, damn, bro, you're a manager. You're fucking A&R, man. Like, you're crazy, you know? So, it was just one of those things, and then I was like, why is this guy telling me, like, is he being honest? And he's like, no, I'm being legit, man. Like, you have talent, but you're just not using it the right way. Like,
so he was being real the whole time.
Yeah, he was being real. Like, and I appreciate that because I didn't sense that, like, hater's blood. Like, you know, it was just a real, like, dude, like, I could tell you're good, but these songs, I don't know, they suck,
man, because a lot of people are just saying you're trash, man. Or they're like, hey,
and then he was like, and I was like, oh, for real? Well, tell me. He was like, well, you know, like track 6, dude, like that beat, it was cool how it started, and then it kind of went, this chorus here was really weak. You guys didn't even try.
Wow, so he actually gave you
the receipts, dude, he gave me the rundown, and I was like, dude, I need you on my team. And then for a while, me and him were running Goldmind's music group, and then he got into like cinematography, got into photography, like. And then he still does like photography as well, but you know, his main career wise, he's a manager for an amazing singer. Her name's Sabrina. She does pop music, and they make a great team together. So even him, bro, like even him doing, and this is what he does. This is his job. It's amazing. These two guys are like my brothers, and to see them venturing off into what they love and also be successful, it makes me like stay on my toes and like you know, every time we catch up, it's through lunch. I hardly ever really see him like that. And when we catch up through lunch, we just talk about our achievements and what we're working on and opportunities that are opening up. So it's cool to have talks like that with someone you've known for a very long time.
Are you planning to expand your studio or just stay?
I am. I'm actually in the middle of like, okay, because right now it's at my home. It's in the garage. It's in a separate room in the garage, but it's growing. So it's growing, man. It's from clients and the amount of work I have to take in and stuff like that. That eventually, you know, I want to move it to a commercial spot, but then I'm also saving to buy a house. So it's like I'm kind of in the middle of like, do I move and keep it there, or do I just get the crib and then put my studio in my own crib, like, because it's gonna be its own separate back house. Like I wouldn't have it inside the home, but I'm kind of battling in between. Like, if I keep it where I'm at now, I'll actually be saving money because it's in my own home. If I move it out to a commercial spot, if I'm with other studios, I've heard horror stories of people like, you know, having their studios broken in, like losing equipment. Like, mind you, I have a microphone that's like, I don't mean to brag, but I have a microphone that's like $3,000. So
no pressure at all.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine like coming to work one day on a song, you come in, your mic's gone, like everything's gone, or half your studio is gone.
That'd be terrible.
I know people in the industry who are like, yo, like, no one had the keys but me. They broke in, or like someone let them in, or you know, like, just really messed up situations that I don't ever want to be in, man. That hurts. It's bad.
Do you also record the process of making the music? Like, do you record yourself like, oh, this is the programs I use?
It's crazy. You like in my mind or what, man?
Yeah,
I'm in the middle of trying to start a YouTube channel because I post stories on my Instagram and people like. That's when I get more reactions and comments from people because like they're like, oh, that's dope. How'd you do that? Oh, what program is that? What microphone are you using on him or her? So they want to know. So I feel like instead of answering all the time, which I never mind, if you ever need advice or something about audio, hit me up. We can chat it up real quick. But it's like maybe I can just show them through video. So I have a client of mine, shout out to Nine Some. He does a lot like video work as well. So I was kind of thinking like, man, come through some of my sessions, record some sessions, kind of show them what we're doing, and like upload them for the people to see. So kind of be more active too. And I think for my business, it'll be a good look.
Yeah, I've seen like little snippets on your page.
Yeah, see, I do little snippets. Yeah, but I kind of want to really develop.
Why you tease me like this,
I want to develop it into like an actual, like actual idea, and like, maybe every Friday pick one of my sessions that week and decide, obviously with the artist's permission, to have filming in there and stuff. So I think that's what I hopefully by 2019, like, you'll really see it be consistent. Yeah. So I'm planning on it, man.
Bro, 2019 is a year, bro. You gotta do it, man.
Man,
I believe in you.
I'm telling you, 2018 was a huge year for me. It was bigger than I thought it would have been. You set goals and then you meet those goals and times 10, and you're just kind of like, yo, like, I'm here. It's just insane. I speak to my girlfriend about it all the time. Like, hey, I didn't think things were gonna get to where they're at now. I saw this coming, but just not this fast. And now I'm here, and it's like, yo, sometimes it's scary because it's like, how do you just keep getting better and better? Like, how do you just keep topping yourself off? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you keep overachieving every time?
Yeah, man, you're not competing with anyone.
Yeah,
literally, you're competing with yourself.
Exactly. And it's with me, I'm so competitive that it's like, if I got this amount of business this month, it's like next month I'm trying to do more.
I think that came out great.